closer look at the problem. The problem that we have here on the board is this. Given that A is equal to this is a matrix. Remember what exactly a matrix is. It's basically an arrangement of elements in rows as well as in columns and enclosed by brackets. So as you see here, we've got 2 rows as well as 2 columns. So we want to see how exactly the inverse of a given matrix can be deduced. So the question, find the inverse of A. So A to the power of -1, you read this as the inverse of A. So we have a matrix here, so we want to find the inverse of that matrix. This is a 2 by 2 matrix. The way we calculate the inverse of matrices depends with the situation that we have on the ground, but I'm going to explain one of the simplest ways of calculating the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so here for us to find the inverse of this matrix, right, the very first thing that we have to do, we need to calculate the determinant of A. So we need to calculate the determinant of A. So how are we going to calculate the determinant of A? The determinant of A sometimes is denoted by this, the modulus of A, the size of A, or we write it symbolically in this way, A with these bars on the side. So the determinant of A is equivalent to what? So if you want to calculate the determinant of A, all what we need to do is very simple. All what we have to do, you simply take the elements in this diagonal, right, multiply them together. So here you're going to get 2 times -4, right, minus, you're also going to take the elements in the other diagonal. So the elements that are in the other diagonal are these ones, right? So let's multiply those elements as well. 1 times -3. The process is very simple. Find the product of the elements in the leading diagonal, and this is what we have, minus, also find the product of the elements in the other diagonal. This is what we've done. The next thing, let's quickly simplify. What is 2 times -4? We get -8, minus 1 times -3, we get -3. So mathematically here we're saying -8 plus -8 minus -3. So we know that, let's keep this -8, so minus -3. So when a negative sign is followed immediately by another negative sign, replace that with a plus, right? We know that addition is commutative. -8 plus 3 is the same as +3 minus 8, and this gives us -5. What are we going to do on the next step? On the next step, which is step number 2, let's swap the elements of the leading diagonal, right, and change the signs of the elements in the other diagonal. So if we do that, what do we need to do? Like I said, we basically need to swap the elements. What do we mean by swapping? So these elements in the leading diagonal are going to change position. So we need to swap the elements in the leading diagonal, right? And then after that, we need to change the signs of the elements in the other diagonal. So for those elements that are in the leading diagonal, let's swap these elements. -4 is going to go to this side, and 2 will go to the other side. As far as the other diagonal is concerned, we simply need to change the signs, and this is so simple. This is a positive, so we're going to change this to negative, and this is negative, so we're going to change that to positive. So yes, this is the result that we get. What do we do? What do we have to do next? The next thing, we need to write down the solution. So how are we going to write down the solution? We then say the inverse of A is equivalent to 1 over the determinant that we have calculated, which is -5, right? Open brackets, we need to write down this matrix: -4, -1, 3, and 2. And this one is our final solution. This is very, very simple. Calculating the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix is very, very simple. Bear in mind, when you're calculating the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix, the first thing, calculate the determinant. And the best way for you to calculate the determinant, find the product of the elements of the leading diagonal, put that product down, minus Also calculate the product of the elements in the other diagonal, put that one down, and then simplify and get the solution. Step number 2, simple and straightforward. You have to swap the elements of the leading diagonal. Simply swap, don't do anything, and then change the signs of the other diagonal. Then you get the result. And then after that, write down the solution. 1 over determinant times that result, and you go, you get all the marks. Normally, if you see this in the exam, it normally comes with 2 marks. I hope and trust you understand how exactly the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix is calculated. If you enjoy this, please like. But if you have any problem, let me know. Awesome.